And I mean, I just do love that it's like one long scene that's just people talking in a room, and mostly one person talking.
Yeah. You wouldn't think like just talking would be that entertaining, but it is.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It's really just like super gripping. It's just it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
I'm Tom Dickinson.
And I'm Louis Midas.
And this is The Cloister Room,
a podcast about Doctor Who and other things.
The Zygon inversion.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like the Zygon inversion?
You know, I loved the Zygon inversion.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it too.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I think it's the best episode so far of the series.
Yeah. No, I would be willing to agree with that. I mean, like, I didn't feel that strongly positively about the first part, but like, absolutely, this part is just the best. Like, I mean, like, it's just I loved it. Yeah,
I honestly there are so few episodes that are like this, where the whole centerpiece of it is like this one long 10-minute scene, and it really is 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's just a 10-minute scene from the time that Capaldi walks in to the Black Archive storage room to the time where, you know, it cuts away from that location.
Right.
And he does almost all of the talking during that scene.
Yes, he does.
And it's like nothing else that's ever really been... I can't think of another episode in Doctor Who that's even vaguely like it.
Yeah, no, really. And I mean, like, and that's like the thing is, like, at all his talking, and at the center of it, that's like the speech he gives. It's so phenomenal. Like, I don't think I've ever seen like Capaldi this good before. Like, or any moment where like I was like, oh my, like, this is just, it was so good.
Yeah, and it feels to me like, you know, every development is like more engrossing than the last. Like, it just keeps pulling you in.
Mm-hmm.
Just from the moment he walks in and you realize they've got this kind of bizarre version of the prisoner's dilemma or something.
Right.
In front of them, and he just kind of narrates them through their choices and talks Bonnie through. He really talks her down, which is, I mean, that's just, and it's an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah, really. I mean, like, and he's like, I don't know what I was expecting from all of this, but like, it definitely didn't play out how I was expecting it to, and it was like kind of like delightful to just be completely surprised like that. Like, I mean, I kind of figured like, oh, you know, this is, well, first of all, I figured the Osgood box would actually do something, and so I thought like, oh, you know, it would, but I figured it would be like a thing where it wouldn't be what they were expecting it to do, and that would be that whole thing. But like, to actually just watch the Doctor talk them out of doing anything, that was just like, I don't know, that's, well, and really that's what the Doctor's all about.
Well, you know, honestly, it's always kind of seemed like they wanted to say that he was all about that, but it never actually happens that way.
That's a good point.
Like, for instance, I mean, one example I think of is the Sontaran stratagem in the Poisoned Sky. The Doctor makes a big deal of, oh, I've got to give them a choice.
Right.
And then so he goes there to give them a choice, and I mean, like he's done many times.
Right.
And there's never the episode never has to deal with the consequences of them saying, you know what, yeah, sure, fine, let's work this out. Like, because if in that moment in the Poisoned Sky the Sontarans had suddenly said, you know what, okay, yeah, I'm liking this, let's just stand down. What the hell would even happen next? Like,
that's a really good point.
Because like the notion of like standing down and, you know, making a peace, it's messy and it's difficult and it's just a whole lot of work, and you have to keep working at it forever. You can never stop working at it.
Right.
And the show has never had the Doctor actually go through that, because it always turns out the other way, because the villain refuses to stand down, or because something else happens and forces, all the Silurians to get locked underground for another few thousand years or anything like that. But this is the one that kind of like, it almost justifies and uplifts all those other stories in my mind, because it always kind of rang hollow for me every time the Doctor would say that, we can work this out. Whereas this is his proving, no, we really can work this out, and it's not easy, and it's not simple, and it's not a lot of fun for everyone involved, but it does work.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I do really appreciate that, because I think that is something that, statistically speaking, should have happened at some point, and now it has. Where it actually works. I mean, it's got like a 98% failure rate, but like, at least there's this 2% chance that he will actually be able to talk this person down, and that's cool.
Yeah, I actually had an idea for a fanfic, which I never got around to writing. That it would start at the climax of an adventure where the Doctor kind of offers the olive branch to the villain, and then the villain just takes him up on it. And then the real story begins when he is forced to actually, bring about the peace between the villain and the humans, or like Unit or whoever, who would all of a sudden turn on the Doctor, and the Doctor would be in the position of making good on his promise to help and protect the villain when his former allies think that's completely crazy. I never ended up writing that because it's hard. Like, that would be a hard thing to try to portray, and I think this episode kind of did it more justice than I ever could have done.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing, is it's like I mean, yeah, it is really hard to do, and I imagine also it would get kind of boring to see a lot of that. I mean, but here is good, and I think we can like go back to having, the villains be stubborn again. So,
well, yeah, because
probably good,
because we know what the peace option looks like now. We at least have a sense of what it is the Doctor's offering if he tries to make peace.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we see he is in fact capable of it.
Yeah, and he does really mean it.
Yeah. Actually, that's kind of cool, because with no evidence that he can do it, you never know. Like, maybe he is just kind of bluffing or whatever. This could all just be part of his routine. Is he tricks? Well, yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing, is that it could have gone another way too, where like, he offers them an olive branch, they take it, and then he like stabs them in the back. I mean, which would have been terrible, but like, we've never seen it happen, so we don't know.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't happen that way, and I think the episode is the better for it, but
Yeah, absolutely.
It could have been. So yeah, I mean, I think like, yeah, this season, with every passing episode, this season is looking better and better in terms of like, just like, is it the best season of Doctor Who ever?
I'd say so.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing, is like, they would have to like really botch the rest of this season in order.
I posted on Tumblr either today or yesterday, I forget when, that all of the last 4 episodes could just be a recon of the Celestial Toymaker Part 2. Just all of them could be that. And it would still be like the best Doctor Who season ever, because the average is so high right now.
Yeah, no, really. Hey, you never know though. Like, I mean, you think like that they would just play the existing reconstruction of the Celestial Toymaker, or are you talking like they actually like reenact the Celestial Toymaker with?
I just meant
Clara?
like the reconstruction.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like the fan-made reconstruction.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe yeah, I mean, I guess let's not rule that out. I mean,
well, maybe that's what we're in for. I don't know.
Are the next 4 titles any vaguely Celestial Toymaker-y?
I'm sure they could be made to fit.
So yeah, no, I think this is definitely up there in terms of Doctor Who seasons. Like, already, like, I mean, yeah, I don't think have we ever gotten to 8 episodes into a season before that and not had a bad one yet, or not a really bad one?
I honestly can't think of an example. Yeah, I'm a pretty big proponent of Series 3, but that has 42, which I think is the low point of the season. Yeah.
I don't remember like disliking 42.
I just thought it was boring.
Oh, it could be boring. I don't know. That seems like that could be one of those. Well, because you were watching Series 3 as it aired.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was binge watching it at that point, and so that's the thing is when you hit a bad episode like that, you can breeze right on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be that and obviously that's the only way I've experienced it is in terms of binge watching, and so it could very well be that if that was your only episode for the week, I could see how that might be boring.
And as I recall, it was the first episode in a 2-week gap.
Oh right,
yeah, because after the Lazarus experiment, there was a week off for, I forget what it was. Was it Eurovision? I don't remember. Yeah, it was Eurovision.
Interesting. So, that's weird. I mean, we've had things like split seasons, but it seems weird that they would just take 2 weeks off for something. Did they do that have they ever done that since?
I don't think so. I think there was a chance that it could have been preempted by a football match. Which just the football match never ended up happening because of the way the previous matches had gone.
Yeah, but that seems weird to take. I know shows do that all the time, where they'll take a few weeks off or whatever. I think network TV does that a lot, where they'll just skip a week for a show or whatever. I don't know why, but they do. But I don't know. It still seems weird to me though. And those are usually 22 episode seasons or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so having 12 consecutive weeks of Doctor Who, that's not unreasonable. It's not like you need to break that up.
Right.
It's not like that's too much Doctor Who.
Yeah. Speaking of which, have you heard the rumors about next year?
Are these the rumors that say they're not going to have a full season?
There's been a lot of back and forth in the past week about it.
I thought I saw something somewhere saying that those. Or saying that those, maybe Peter Capaldi had said that those were not true, or that he had not been told about that.
Well, the back and forth was that, the first rumor that came was that at Peter Capaldi's request, the order had been halved to 6 episodes. But then both Capaldi and Moffat denied that Series 10 was shorter.
Oh, they could weasel out of it though, maybe by saying that Series 10 is whatever comes next is not going to be Series 10,
or that we're not getting anything until we're just skipping a whole year entirely, except for the Christmas special.
Yeah. Oh, that would be weird having 2 Christmas specials back to back. Because we've never had that.
It'd be constant Christmas.
That would be so weird if you're binge watching on Netflix. That you hit, it's time for the Christmas special, then they hit the Christmas special, and then I don't know, well, I guess there wouldn't be a next time trailer, but it would be funny if there were a next time trailer that was also Christmas. But yeah, that would be weird.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't have that. We can have that.
I'll just wait and see.
We can have even less than that.
Yeah.
They could just outright cancel it.
They could. They've done it before.
There's a precedent.
Anyhow, the Zygon inversion.
Yes.
So last week I was kind of worried about aspects of the episode's politics that I might not end up liking.
Right.
And there were a few, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, so I'm not crazy about the notion that the Zygons were initially they had a grievance, which was that they were forced to live in disguise, and that grievance was not addressed. Mm-hmm. And it was the kind of final setup seemed to be based on the presumption that the only possible outcomes were complete assimilation as they had continued, preserve the status quo of complete assimilation, or just all-out war. And there was never any serious consideration gone to any other option, any other option.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Something that kind of stuck out to me in the episode was they keep talking about this thing if we unmask all the Zygons, there'll be an all-out war. And I was like, those two things don't necessarily follow. It'd be weird if your next door neighbor was suddenly a Zygon or whatever. But it's not necessarily going to follow that. I thought it would be funny if they succeeded in their plan to unmask all the Zygons, and then everyone just kind of shrugged it off and was like, oh, okay.
Maybe everyone's just fine with it.
Yeah, who's to say? Who's to say that everyone would not just be totally cool with just having Zygons everywhere? I mean, have they asked? Did they do any kind of poll?
Well, they haven't, because it's all secret.
That's right. That's right. Maybe it's it could be one of those surveys that just pop up randomly on websites where you just click a few buttons and you get to how would you feel about having an alien living in your neighborhood?
Well, honestly, this is Peter Harness who wrote Kill the Moon, which includes a polling scene where Clara pulls the Earth, and the what they decide is the violent option of kill the creature. So he might just have like a dim view of human nature.
He may,
where he doesn't think that if left to their own devices, the humans as Zygons could be peacefully, like, could coexist peacefully. So he feels like this solution is necessary. I don't know how I feel about that though. So that's my main objection, is like the whole, I don't know, like there's no other way. It's like you have to like completely, like if you're an immigrant who's coming into this country, you must completely subsume your cultural identity to assimilate into the mainstream. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, there is that. Well, yeah, that does. I mean, like, yeah, that does seem weird that like it's presented. I'm not super sure.
Here's the problem. They can't just let Zygons be Zygons. That's the problem.
Have you been building up to that?
No, but but I did have to say it.
No, you did. You did. No, and I think it had to get out there.
It's the oldest joke in the book. Was that in Day of the Doctor? Because it wasn't in this, and I was expecting it.
Was what in?
Let Zygons be Zygons.
I don't think it's ever been in. I don't think it, like, in actual dialogue.
I don't think it was. I don't remember whether it was in Day of the Doctor, and I don't think it was in the Terror of the Zygons. But it was definitely in a Big Finish audio.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Okay, because that seems like too perfect of a joke not to be somewhere.
Yeah, it's not in Day of the Doctor.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, heck, if I were writing the Zygons, that would be in every episode I wrote featuring the Zygons, and even ones that weren't, like, even just referencing, because the Doctor does that all the time. He just obliquely references a past adventure using just like a really vague description. Yeah, I would absolutely slip in something about Zygons being Zygons.
Yeah, there's a great kind of through line through the Eighth Doctor adventures, which involves a Zygon who chooses to take the human form of a deceased human that they were in love with, and chooses to live peacefully as a human, and comes into conflict with other Zygons who believe that shouldn't be the case. So it's kind of a similar theme to what's going on here.
Yeah. Well, like, so I feel maybe I don't remember the events of Day of the Doctor all that well. Why are the Zygons here? Like why did they come to Earth? Was it just
they're looking for a home?
Oh, okay. So this is like, their home planet was destroyed or whatever.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. All right. So I mean, like, they could have. So how did they get here? Do they have just some ship parked in orbit? No, they can't. No, they could. How did they get here?
I forget. They I guess it's just a spaceship, right?
Presumably.
I don't know.
Huh. No, I'm just wondering how they settled on Earth. Like, I mean, but this is also like, well, I also like, I don't know anything about Zygon culture. Do they prefer to be shapeshifted? Do they prefer that to their natural form?
Well, it seems like the one Zygon who commits suicide during this episode preferred to be shapeshifted.
Yeah.
Whereas the Truth or Consequences Zygons have the opposite view.
So it could be a preference thing.
I guess it could be a preference thing, but it seems not so much for the Truth or Consequences. It seems not so much a preference, like just as to be an ideology.
Yeah,
like they believe they have a duty to be themselves or whatever.
Right. They're like, yeah. So it's like, vegans or whatever.
Exactly. Vegan Zygons. Zygon vegans.
Vegons. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and that seems like reasonable. Like, you could have like I could see like a philosophy centered around the idea that you should be unchanged or whatever, that, like, your purest form, your purity of essence. If you just, if you're, the only way you can be pure is to be unshifted.
Yeah,
or whatever. I could see that.
Well, it could just be that they want to live as themselves, like they don't want to have to hide.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Well, that's the thing, is like, I don't know. It's such an odd idea to have like a shape-shifting creature. Like, how did it, like, what function did they on their home planet, like, what was that? Did that come in useful? Was that useful to them?
Well, I think it's just they blend into other societies just as that's kind of how they roll.
Right.
So they may not have like one centralized society. They may kind of be nomadic. I don't know.
So okay, yeah, this could be like this planet that I guess maybe no longer exists, or maybe they're kicked off of it. I mean, who knows? I mean, or at least, I mean, I don't think it was. Was it ever directly stated?
Sorry?
Like, was it ever directly stated what happened to their planet or whatever?
Yeah, it said in Day of the Doctor that it was destroyed in the Time War.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So-
In last week's episode, they said that the Zygons embed themselves in other cultures and live out their lives in peace.
Ah.
Yeah, so that's how they survive.
Mm.
So they must not have like their own thing going on. They just
Well, right. It's that's weird, huh? I mean, like, yeah, I guess it makes sense, but yeah.
it's really not so different from the alien in Night Terrors, the little boy.
Oh yeah.
Who, that's just kind of how they do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and that that works, I'm sure. Yeah, so I wondered, like, I guess maybe on their home planet there were like other species, and they just always, or very often, like, chose to disguise themselves as one of those species, maybe.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah, unless they just always had interstellar travel somehow, and they just kind of like landed on planets and just like assimilated or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But in any case, I mean, like, yeah, it seems like they should have the option to not assimilate if they don't want.
Yeah, but they just don't.
Yeah, they just do not. Yeah, it seems a bit odd. I mean, like, and that's the other thing is, like, there are plenty of like places on Earth that they could go where they wouldn't. Like, I mean, they wouldn't be a part of like any society or have any like kind of. Oh well, and I guess another thing about them choosing Earth was that like they knew that they would have technology one day or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, so I guess they really want to be around technology. They want to be around like iPhones and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, who wouldn't?
I know. Well, I don't know. It seems like Bonnie destroys a lot of technology in this.
Yeah. She really takes out her aggression on that laptop.
Yeah, the laptop, and I think in a later scene she throws the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very angry at technology. I mean, it's not the technology's fault. It's like whatever's being displayed on that technology that she's upset about. But she feels the need to take out her frustrations on those.
The medium isn't the message.
That's right. Yeah. You gotta separate those two. But yeah. So okay. So I guess like, well, that's the thing though, is like, yeah, all right. I mean, if they wanna just inhabit some deserted part of the planet, they could live out their lives however they liked. But they wouldn't have iPhones.
That's right.
Or they would have iPhones. They could bring iPhones with them.
But no one to call.
Exactly.
You know what I also found a little weird?
What?
15 times.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That the notion that that apparently Kate has learned that the Osgood boxes are empty and then had her memory erased 15 times. And
yeah.
I wasn't sure what that was meant to imply.
Well, right, because like, have there been like, have they come to this 15 times where like it's just been a different splinter group or whatever every time that like they all come here and then, well, I mean, like, yeah, it'd be really weird if this exact scenario played out every single time.
Yeah, that was one interpretation. Another interpretation is that the whole conversation he has in this episode with this Zygon uprising, he has to go through it 15 times before Bonnie makes the right choice. So they're not standing there for 10 minutes. They're standing there for a lot longer.
Oh, I see. So you're saying like, no, wait. So you're saying that this same revolution keeps happening with the same leader? And
No.
No, what do you say?
That in the course of this revolution, he walks in, does the whole, tries to talk her down scenario. It doesn't work. So he walks out of the room, has their memories erased, and then walks back in and tries again.
Oh, I see. So like right. So they've been there for a while.
They've been there for a few hours.
Okay, and he keeps. All right, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's it, or it could just be that for various whatever reasons, like Osgood accidentally keeps telling her that, hey, that box is empty, and she's like, well, now I can't forget that, and then the doctor says, that's
Yes,
what you said the last 14 times.
Oh yeah, that would be really annoying. Well, like, yeah, that's the thing is like I don't really know how to interpret that. I assumed when I was watching it that like I interpreted that to mean like, oh, okay, so yeah, she's getting that like something has happened that's led them to those boxes, and it's happened 14 times before this, or 15 times or whatever.
But it couldn't have been this same scenario because everyone on Earth, or every Zygon on Earth, was aware of the truth or consequences thing, and everyone's memories didn't get wiped, just the people in that room.
Right. It would have to be something like, Yeah, I mean, like, unless like Kate's just haven't like maybe Kate Stewart just like sometimes has like a situation where she's just like, you know what, this truce isn't working. Let's get out the boxes and just
she would.
Right, and so like, you know, and that's when they have to like say like no, it's empty. Let's not do this again. and then and then they have to wipe her mind after that. Yeah, I don't know. It seems weird that, I don't know. There's this. I think I feel like there's something wrong with that system. That like, oh, we gotta keep erasing people's memories, because like, you know, how are we supposed to learn from our mistakes if our memory is wiped every time we get it wrong?
Well, I think that's why he doesn't erase Bonnie's memory.
Yeah, and I was thankful for that,
because Bonnie really does learn. Whereas
right.
Kate just kind of chickens out.
Yeah.
Whereas he really gets through to Bonnie, like, and gets her to think like him.
Right.
Whereas Kate really just chickens out more than anything.
That's true. Yeah. So maybe like the 16th or 17th time she'll get it, and then he won't erase her memory.
Yeah. Or maybe this will be the last time. I don't know. Now that there's now that Bonnie's changed her mind or something, because maybe that didn't happen last time.
Yeah, that could be. Well, yeah, I mean, like, and that's the thing is, like, you know, yeah, I mean, well, it would have to be like a different revolution with a different leader.
Yeah, it's just a little disturbing to think that this thing has happened, you know, every couple of months, and the Doctor is just constantly, you know, he constantly has to go through all this and go through this emotionally fraught, you know, mind game that he plays with them in order to preserve the ceasefire.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, like, you'd really think that, like, yeah, this is not a working system. This is not what I would call a fully functioning working system.
And that's what peace is, though.
Well, I guess so.
That's kind of in a way, that's kind of why I like it, because it's not just like it's not just like a button that you press and everything's solved.
Right.
And that it's never pressing a button, and it's constantly making the decision every day not to press the button.
Yeah.
And that is, I don't know. I just love the way that the episode just portrayed it as difficult and strange, and it's not fair either. Like, it's not fair that Bonnie gets a free pass for all the bad things she's done.
Right.
But, you know, fair isn't the way the game's played.
That's very true.
So you can think you're right all you want, but when you go to war and you fire the first shot, you have no idea who's going to die.
Yeah. That's right.
It's so good.
Yeah, really is. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like, I don't know how many, I can't really think of, like, how many, like, really great speeches Capaldi has had as the Doctor, but, like, this is definitely, like, up there as, like, maybe the top. Yeah. Actually, no, definitely the top.
This is the big one. I honestly think this is the one that, you know how when they showed, you know, one story from each Doctor on BBC America in the lead up to the 50th anniversary?
Oh, yeah.
In 50 more years, when they do the 100th anniversary, this is the Capaldi story they're going to show, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I'm prepared for an even better one to come along,
and
I'd be, you know, thrilled for that. But this beats out. Listen probably would have been my previous contender, but this beats that out by a country mile.
Huh.
By a country mile.
I never heard that expression before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, well, yeah, and that's the thing is, like, you know, I don't know how long Capaldi's going to stick around, so, you know, it could be that he's going to have a ton of other great episodes and great speeches and things, but, you know, for right now, I think this is it. This is, yeah, I don't know. This is just so good.
So I've got a new merchandising idea for BBC Worldwide.
All right.
This is toothpaste brand toothpaste.
You know, it's kind of weird how they decided to have those different things to clue Clara into the idea that she was dreaming or whatever. But it's weird, and it's weird that would be one. But yeah, no, I could absolutely see that. I mean, like, the issue is, like, because I imagine there's gonna be you're gonna put a lot of black dye into that.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, and this is the thing, I don't know if that would actually whiten your teeth. I think that's the thing is, like, you got to balance it. You got to make the formula such that, like, I don't know if it looks black at first, but then as it comes into contact with the air or something, or like as you foam it or whatever, it like kind of like lightens up, so it's not like so devastating to your teeth.
Right.
And I feel like they could probably, I bet you there is some kind of chemical that does that, and I bet it also causes cancer. So
yeah, probably.
We probably need to wait for some kind of compound that won't give you cancer, but will also achieve that same effect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just want a toothpaste tube that says, "This is toothpaste" in all capital letters with a period at the end.
You know, I do like that. You know what it reminded me of is, have you ever seen the movie Repo Man?
No.
It's this very like, I guess I would call it like almost like kind of, I guess I would describe it as punk, but it's kind of like, that's kind of like a big part of it is like something that's not even like really like focused on, but is like in the background, is all the props and everything are just like this generic, like just basically have the words on them of like what they are. So like there's just like a box of cereal that just says cereal, and like cans of food that are like peas or whatever, and it's just like, and that's like, and they're like it's I mean, like it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but like that's what it reminded me of, is like just like the props department just decided to do this really weird thing, this really weird motif where like, you know, the things just have their names on them and that's it. But yeah, so that's what that reminded me of. But I agree. I would love to see that like in real life. I mean, like it'll never happen with how, you know, with how marketing is nowadays. You know, with companies and things.
They have it in Canada.
Do they like plain packaging for
It's yellow, and it just says, it's just super generic. And John Hodgman was tweeting about it a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
I'm just Googling Canada yellow generic.
No, is this something by law, or is it
no?
Just
okay,
that...
so no, it's called No Name. It's a generic brand of grocery and household products sold by Loblaw Companies Limited.
Okay.
No Name products are available in stores across Canada, including, and then it's a list of a bunch of them, and they're just super generic.
So the whole gimmick is that they just don't have anything. Like it's basically like Dharma, like, you know, it's the same kind of,
more or less, yeah.
So they all have that same. They all have that, like, it's all the same. It's all the same company, but it's like that's weird.
Yeah, I'm sending you an image.
Okay. That's really fascinating. So I'm like, are these good quality products, or is this just like
idea. Never been to Canada. Actually, I have been to Canada, but I haven't been there recently, and I never grocery shopped there.
Right, that's the thing, is like, you know, how many, like, even if you go to a foreign country, are you really going to shop in a grocery store? I mean, come on, of all the things you could do,
so many other things you could be doing with your time.
Unless you want to get like I don't know, like the good quality flavored, like I think in like Italy, if you go and get the Fanta there, it's not like in America, like the Fanta is basically just like orange soda, but like over there they have like actually like they use like, maybe, I don't know if it's like they use real fruit juice, or like it's like a legitimate, like it's carbonated like fruit juice or something. It's like actually good.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. So I mean, like, you know, if you wanted to like get that stuff, I imagine you'd have to go to a grocery store. Yeah. Or maybe not. I mean, maybe you could go to like a restaurant or something. They might serve Fanta or whatever. I don't know. But I mean, and I guess based on like, I want to believe that this would be like that, like they funnel all the money they get into making their products good, as opposed to like wasting it all on advertising. But I don't know. That's fascinating though.
So here's my question about This Is Toothpaste.
Okay.
So all the text in Clara's dream world is garbled.
Right.
Except for the things that Bonnie is saying.
Right.
So why is Bonnie saying this is toothpaste?
Maybe so well, I'm envisioning like a scene where like she's asked one of her underlings to get her something. I don't know what, but like maybe the underling is kind of like relatively new to Earth for whatever reason, or they're just not in touch with things. And so they like, or maybe it's like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I have no, like, maybe it's like, maybe he just had no idea what she was talking about. Like, maybe she wanted some kind of like ointment or something. I don't know. Maybe she's conditioned. And so she just needed her anti-itching cream or something. And so she was asking the underling for it, and then he just kind of went and grabbed something and came back, and she was like, "No, you idiot, this is toothpaste." and so, maybe that's what was going on here.
So she gets off the phone with Kate in New Mexico, has a little chat with her underling explaining toothpaste, then goes outside and shoots a rocket launcher at a plane.
She's multitasking. This is listen, you don't become the leader of a rebel organization without knowing a thing or two about multitasking.
Or toothpaste. Knowing a thing or two about toothpaste.
Being able to spot a tube of toothpaste from 50 yards, that's really important.
Yeah.
When you're trying to take over the world. Yeah, so I want to say so. Like, yeah.
Maybe it's a Zygon saying, like, how if something's very easy, you'd say, this is a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a Zygon, the equivalent saying is, this is toothpaste. Like, these humans are so easy. This is toothpaste.
It's so easy to... These humans are just so easy to conquer. It's like, just, you want to, like, spread them all over your gums. Yeah, I could see that. Mm. I think we could go with that.
Sometimes in stories like this, like, there are weird things like, how come of all the humans that have been captured in those pods, Clara's the only one who can kind of wake up and fight with her Zygon impersonator.
Yeah.
But I feel like that kind of makes sense because Clara has experience with this from last Christmas.
Oh, hey, yeah.
So yeah, like living in a dream world and kind of noticing that she's in a dream world and trying to wake up out of that dream. That's something that she's had experience with. So I can kind of imagine that she'd have like a stronger mental ability to resist it.
Yeah, and presumably, if like Shona and everyone have also been Zygoned or whatever, they'll also have similar abilities to fight back. So you don't know, but I mean, like maybe their Zygon impersonators just weren't quite as high in the ranks, so you don't see their efforts play out.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing is, you've been subjected to one alien mind control dream state thingy. You really been subjected to them all. That's a skill that can that's transferable, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, and I think that makes total sense. I mean, like, I don't think that doesn't really like break the character at all or anything like that. Like, I mean, I think we can work this in.
Yeah, I mean, because like for instance, in Death in Heaven, I kind of like, so the only two Cybermen who can resist are Danny and the Brigadier, and everyone else is
because it's the power of love.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were the only two people that like loved anybody.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, when you're doing something like that, you gotta it doesn't always really make sense, like to just say like, oh, it was because they had all this love.
Yeah, and only in this case it does, I feel, because she has that experience.
Yeah. So I'm down with that.
Did you catch the reference to Harry Sullivan?
I didn't really get that reference. It was something about the imbecile gas, or whatever.
Yeah. So in the previous episode, it was mentioned that a member of staff who was a naval surgeon worked at Porton Down and captured a Zygon and developed a gas to unravel their DNA. Harry Sullivan, the former companion, was a naval doctor.
Okay.
And it was briefly mentioned in Modern Undead that he was now doing something top secret at Porton Down. Like the Brigadier mentioned this to the Fifth Doctor in that story. So last week, many people took this as like a sort of, a tacit acknowledgement of Harry Sullivan.
Okay.
But yeah, Kate says at one point in this episode, she refers to it more directly. She calls it, I think at one point, Sullivan's gas. And then the Doctor at one point says the imbecile's gas.
Right.
Which is a reference to, I don't know which story that is. Is that Revenge of the Cybermen? That's what it is. Revenge of the Cybermen, in which the Doctor yells Harry Sullivan is an imbecile.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, that reference was mostly lost on me.
Well, there you go. It's Harry Sullivan.
Yeah, no, it's nice to know that it's Harry Sullivan. It's important to know, I think.
Mm-hmm. Huh. He's an imbecile.
Yeah, no, I think that's all you need to know. I think it's self-explanatory.
And did you catch the reference to the Brigadier?
Which reference would that be?
That's Kate saying that she shot the Zygon with 5 rounds rapid.
Oh, yeah, I did get that.
That's a reference to his line from The Demons, which is chap with wings, 5 rounds rapid, which people always like to quote.
Right. Yeah, I know I've heard that before. I have not seen that story, but I know I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's kind of his signature line that he says once.
Well, that's a fan thing. To
Absolutely.
just equate something they said one time to a thing that's just them. So that's a good reference. Speaking of that, that was how Kate ended up surviving. That was actually just it was a little weird. That flashback was a little weird. It was like oh no, the Zygon's gonna get her, and like oh wait no, she has a gun.
Yeah,
she's just gonna shoot him a bunch of times.
The doctor doesn't like them, but they can be handy.
They really can. They are good at getting you out of situations that you would have otherwise not been able to get out of.
Yeah, by killing.
Yeah, you can't argue with results.
Suppose you can't. I'm a little amazed at how quickly she got back to London.
Well, I mean they're not running the the Concorde jet anymore or whatever. So you can't get to London in whatever under 4 hours or whatever it is. But yeah, even so, that's the other side of the United States.
Yeah, it's New Mexico.
Yeah.
So
I mean right, it takes like 6 hours just to cross across the United States. Then you got to go. And are there any? I doubt there are direct flights from New Mexico to London.
From Truth or Consequences to London.
Truth or Consequences International Airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No.
I don't know because she's clearly in Truth or Consequences when she calls Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's right before Bonnie goes out and shoots the doctor's plane down. And then by the time the doctor and Osgood make it to London, from wherever they came down,
right,
that's when she's there.
Oh, so, right, yeah.
So she must have, I don't know, maybe because she was just being escorted by Zygons at that point, so maybe there were some Truth or Consequences Zygons in Truth or Consequences who used some kind of special Zygon thingy to get her there in time.
Yeah, that could be. So do Zygons not recognize their own kind? Like, can they not tell when another one is like if it's really a human or a Zygon just masquerading as a human? I guess not.
That's funny because I've had that same thought, and I thought even if they can't tell the difference between a human and a Zygon masquerading as a human, then why wouldn't they just like have a procedure for like interrogating them to figure it out? Just to like ask them something only a Zygon would know.
Right. Yeah, or like a secret handshake or just anything.
Yeah. Or just do the normalize thing where they just tell them normalize for just a second and then go back. You can go back, but we just need to double check.
Right. You just need to like show your credentials. Show that you're covered in red suckers, and then you're good to go. Yeah, that seems weird that there'd be no verification at all. Like this is a society that is built upon deception, probably, or kinda. And it's weird to think that they wouldn't have just any protocol. I don't know. Maybe they're just. I don't know. No, I don't know. Yeah, seems a little weird. Because I mean, like, unless there's like some kind of because there's really no restriction, at least as far as I'm aware, in terms of like how many times they can shift in a given period, or like if maybe it costs a lot of energy or whatever in order to shapeshift. That doesn't seem to be a problem. So like there's no reason to like just like do like a little pop just to verify. I mean, like if it were like really costly or exhausting to change, then I'd say like, oh yeah, they're just being efficient here. It's just practical to not constantly be shifting, because then you'd be exhausted all the time. But
they don't have the budget.
Yeah, no, you got to be conscious of that. But yeah, so if it's like it takes like literally a second, and just like I don't know, maybe Kate Stewart's just like really good at like talking her way out of things, and so she just does like maybe she just did like this fake kind of like indignant thing where like she's just like how dare you ask me to, hey, don't you know who I am, and just go based on that. I think I don't know, maybe she can kind of really play that up.
Yeah, it could work.
But yeah, that does seem weird when it's just so simple. It's just such a simple little thing. Just be like, hey, just let me know that you're really a Zygon.
Yeah.
Or that was just their hubris. Maybe was that they just were so sure that no human could ever defeat a Zygon, because it's not like they have guns or anything.
And that's why they fail.
That's right. Well, isn't that even like pretty much? Actually, yeah, isn't that like pretty much literally what happens in Day of the Doctor, where like doesn't Queen Elizabeth like literally say? Wait, what?
She says they never.
Oh yeah,
they never believed that a woman could beat them or something like that.
Right, yeah. So I mean, like that's just their critical mistake, is thinking that we're just these weak little things that we just kind of we just fold instantly to anything.
And it's explicitly, stated that it's the younger Zygons who are the ones who are radicalizing. Oh, so it could be that these just weren't part of the Day of the Doctor thing.
Yeah, that could be.
They were not. They were still teenagers. They're still Zygon teens when that happened.
Yeah. So they're just not thinking clearly. They think that they're like all teenagers. They think they are invincible and that no one can stop them.
Exactly.
And then they're going to be hit with the hard, cold truth of the world pretty soon.
Well, they're dead. Kate kills them both.
It doesn't get any colder than that.
I guess not.
But yeah. So I guess they were just foolhardy or whatever.
True that. How do you feel about Osgood?
I mean, I like that she has a thing she's doing now. Like I like that she's like got this role, and because it's weird because the Doctor in which one? Oh, Death in Heaven, which the Doctor offers her.
Yeah, that's in Death in Heaven.
Yeah.
The Doctor offers to take her along as a companion.
Right, and it seems like she would go, and then he offers it here again, and now she kind of turns it, or she says she'd love to, but she's got things to do here, which I mean I like more because I want her to have I don't know this is because this is the thing that differentiates her from the other just unit characters, where now she's got this really specialized thing she's doing. So I kind of like that. I like that she's this. Although I mean I don't know this is really kind of I don't know if I like all this mystery over whether or not she's. I mean I know that we're not supposed to care about whether or not she's a Zygon or whatever, but I don't know. I still want to know.
Well, I don't know. I feel like one's a human and one's a Zygon, and we don't know which one's which, is fundamentally a different thing than it's either a human and a Zygon or two Zygons, and we don't know whether that's the case. I feel like that's different.
It is different,
but maybe it just doesn't matter.
Maybe it just does not matter.
I don't know. I'm just gonna assume that the Zygon one is the one that died in Death in Heaven.
Yeah,
that's just what I'm gonna assume.
Well, I mean, and it's if not, she is either really convincing at being because in Day of the Doctor, it's very obvious that Osgood is a fan, very obvious. Now, so in this episode, she continues to purport that she's a big fan, and well, that's because she's committed. I mean, if that's a Zygon, then it's because she's committed to just inhabiting the role of Osgood, and that's something Zygons seem to be able to do. The Bonnie is able to mimic Clara pretty perfectly until she decides she no longer wants to. That's true. That's a good point. So yeah, it's not necessarily So this is so her actions in this episode are not necessarily indicative either way. She could just be very good at inhabiting the role of a Doctor Who fan. So that could be. But I was gonna it does seem I do like that dialogue where the Doctor's like you really thought this through, and she's like, yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, she's really thought through how to kill him.
Right. Which I mean, you could conceivably still have done that if you're a Zygon. But it does seem like something that the human Osgood would have done. So,
well, maybe. I mean, I would assume that the human Osgood ended up introducing the Zygon Osgood into the fandom.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, What episode do you think she had her start with?
Oh, I wonder. I don't know. Maybe Terror of the Zygons.
Yeah, well, it's a good starting point. Yeah, probably.
At least for historical purposes.
Yeah, I think it's a good primer, if nothing else. It's accessible, I think. So looking back, it was called an Osgood box because there's two of them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter which is which because they're both pointless and empty on the inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, no, I just want to make sure that I had that right.
Just like Osgood.
Right, exactly. Okay. No, just making sure. Just making sure I had that right. Okay. Right, because that doesn't really say anything great about Osgood. That she's just basically a prop.
She's a microcosm for war. She's a scale model of war.
Yes. Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw Osgood. It's like, that's a scale model of war right there.
Yeah, I have watched this episode twice.
Uh-huh.
I have watched that scene about 8 times.
It is a really, really good scene.
It's excellent. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing is, it's like, this is just so, it's just so perfect. Like, the whole, for this to be the one time where talking down the villain actually works, like, this is just so perfect at that. Like it was just written so well. And also acted so well. I mean, I think Capaldi does like an excellent job here. It's like, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
So next week, are you looking forward to the found footage episode?
Oh, is that what this is, the found footage one?
I mean, it sure seems that way from the trailer.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the Mark Gatiss one.
Right. Yeah, actually, yes, I am interested in it because
it does seem to be a one-parter.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Because it seems like this and the one. This is what's it? Sleep No More, I think it's called. And then the one that follows is Face the Raven, which features the return of Riggsy. From Flatline.
Right.
Yeah. So these seem to be 2 one-parters, but I don't know. I mean, everything about them screams that they're separate stories. Like their titles don't seem to mirror one another, but I'm suspicious.
Yeah, this could be like the fake out where we think we're getting 2 one-parters, but I don't know. Do you think there's anything about like not sleeping and also like graffiti art that are related somehow?
I don't know.
That like you'd need to call in Riggsy for his expertise
in not sleeping.
Right. Well, I imagine I imagine a lot of graffiti art gets done at night. Maybe that's probably how like Banksy or whatever got his start. He couldn't sleep one night and just decided, let's make a political statement by defacing a building.
Let's make a really vague political statement about, it's like Disneyland, but it's Dismaland. Because it's like, the system, man.
Yes, exactly.
Anyhow, yeah, I would say that this Mark Gatiss episode is the one where my expectations and like anticipation is lowest for the entire season. Like I am going in expecting it to be the low light of the season.
I feel like the trailer didn't really like hype anything up. Like there didn't seem to me like there was any like line that sounded like vague and confusing, like I don't know, like in the trailer for last year's finale, they had the line about Clara Oswald never existed or whatever, and then that turned out to be nothing. Mm-hmm. But so it didn't seem like in this episode or in this trailer there was any like line that kind of stood out as being like, what are they talking about? So no, there's nothing. I don't know. It seemed like kind of a generic trailer in terms of. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm lowering my expectation, and I may be pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly, did I say presently? I meant to say pleasantly surprised.
You could be both pleasantly.
I'm lowering. I may presently be pleasantly surprised. Yeah, because I mean, Mark Gatiss has been kind of hit or miss for me.
Yeah,
I liked Robot of Sherwood and I liked the Crimson Horror, but most of his other episodes have been up and down on.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Right, because he did Victory of the Daleks was just kind of meh. Yeah. So I could see. Yeah, I mean, you never know with Mark Gatiss. You never really know what you're getting. But yeah, I think. I mean, and this could be the one because come on, how could we have an entire season of really great episodes? There's got to be. There just. I mean, maybe this is just the pessimist inside me, but there's got to be a bad one somewhere, And we're running out of episodes for that to be. If nothing else, there has to be the relatively worst one.
Yeah.
So that could be this one. Even if it's just a pretty good episode, it could still be the worst of the season.
Yeah. So I'll be watching it at Elihu.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No. Are they also? But they're doing a live screening as per usual, or
I imagine they are. I haven't actually checked the schedule for that, but
they'd have to.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd be crazy not to. It's a Doctor Who convention.
Well, yeah, I know last year it was the finale, so there was
Right.
hype was at an extraordinary level for that.
Right.
This is just like, oh, well, it's this year's Mark Gatiss episode. So it's a little bit less of a huge hype, I think.
Yeah. I can see how that wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think it wouldn't be quite as hyped, but I mean, like, still, it's a Doctor Who episode. You only get at most 12 of these a year. You gotta savor these.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be crazy to just like wait until like Sunday night when you got home to watch it. I mean, come on, come on, that's crazy. It's a Doctor Who convention.
They're doing a loud room and a quiet room for Sleep No More, and then right after the show, they're doing a Radio Free Skaro episode, a live Radio Free Skaro episode because they're going to be there. So,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, maybe I'll do the loud room this time because
was the quiet room not up to your standards, or just you not?
I just don't care as much with this one.
Yeah, right, and in this case, being in a loud room might enhance the experience.
Yeah, it might.
It might be the MSG to just really make you appreciate it, and hopefully not give you whatever the side effects are of MSG, because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, because you're probably not going to need to pay that close attention to this episode, I'm assuming.
It could be amazing. I don't know.
It could be,
but yeah. There are some conspiracy theories about the Doctor's line to Clara that the longest month of his life,
right,
or whatever,
right.
The time he thought she was dead, which
right.
I personally kind of interpreted that as just meaning that it was only a few minutes, but it felt like forever.
Right.
But some are saying like, he's known for a long time that she's gonna die, and he's experiencing events of this series out of order,
right,
or something.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I remember us discussing that possibility with the pawns.
Oh yes.
So I mean, like, yeah, well, that's the thing is, any instance of like traveling where the Doctor drops them off at the end of the episode, you're gonna have that where could this be? Could it be that we're experiencing this out of order from what the Doctor's experiencing? And I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did actually. I don't know where. I guess I read that on our Gallifrey, and I after my first watching, and so then I went back and when I rewatched it, I did pay attention to that line, and I mean, I could see how you could interpret that to be more there than there is, or that there's more to that line than at first there would seem to be. But I mean, I don't know. I think it could be. I don't think it's like. It doesn't seem that strongly to point to anything amiss. I don't know.
No, and I just think there's been a bunch of times this year this season where the Doctor has had reason to think that that Clara was gonna die in the context of the story.
Yeah.
Like for instance, in the Witch's Familiar, he thought that Clara had been killed by that Dalek.
Right.
Which turned out to actually have Clara inside of it. And then in Before the Flood, he thought that Clara was gonna die and get turned into a ghost or whatever. In The Girl Who Died, he thought like Clara had been taken away to Valhalla.
Right.
And then in this, he thought she was dead because Bonnie said she was dead. So.
Right. So it would be very weird if all those times I mean, like, I guess time can be rewritten, so you can say, like, oh, well, even if she's already dead from the perspective of the Doctor, maybe she can die again. But I don't know. I don't think that I don't know. That does seem a little bizarre. Like, why would the Doctor be so afraid of her dying if he already knows that it's happened?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
And
know.
And her whole introduction to the show was, the Doctor failed to save her from dying multiple times.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be. I'm not feeling it, but it could be.
Yeah. Yeah, it just, yeah, I think I'm going to need, it just seems like a weird, that does seem kind of weird. And like also like a month, that's really kind of specific. Like what's a month got to do with it? Why is it the longest month? And I mean, like, I don't know. That doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, I would say, like if I had to guess, I would say it means nothing. But I don't know. I've been wrong before. I think I must have been wrong before. I can't have been right all this time.
No, you can't have. That's right.
That's impossible.
Yeah, that would never happen.
So the doctor actually thinks, after all this time, we've discovered that the doctor actually does not have a high opinion of London at all.
No.
He just calls it a dump.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
It is kind of harsh, but I'd never been there, so I don't know whether it's true or not.
Have I been there?
You don't know whether you've been to London?
I think. Well, I mean, like I've flown into Heathrow. I don't know if I've ever actually like set foot in London proper. Oh no, I must have. I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it a dump. I don't really remember it all that well. But
we also officially find out the doctor's name in this episode.
Oh right, yeah.
It's Basil Disco.
Basil Disco. And you know what? I like it. So now I'm just imagining, River sort of whispering that name at the doctor's grave, or on Trenzalore to open the door. Like all it took was just a little Basil Disco, and you get into the doctor's time stream. Yeah,
finally it's been revealed.
Yeah, after all this time. I think we can go with that. I think there's nothing saying that it couldn't be that.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be.
It must be. It absolutely must be. I think we can put this whole Doctor Who thing to bed. This whole question.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. I think they need to rename the show now. They can just rename it Basil Disco.
Yeah, sure. I'd watch that.
I don't know who wouldn't watch that show.
They should retroactively rename all previous episodes. Like the Hartnell era should now refer to the character as Basil Disco.
Like they even like dub it in, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not that. Well, yeah. No. I mean, yeah.
There's no harm in it.
Yeah. No. Absolutely not. Change the titles. I want to see the diamond logo just say Basil Disco on it. If I were like even remotely good at Photoshop or GIMP or whatever, I would absolutely do a Basil Disco diamond logo.
I might attempt to do it even though I'm not any good at it.
Yeah. I think that would be really worthwhile.